You have been working on your relationship with food, but you haven't fully healed your relationship with food and conquered binge eating because you haven't been giving yourself tough love. I want to have a conversation today on the importance of self-love to transform your relationship with food. Now, you have been told the importance, and you know the importance of giving yourself grace and self-compassion. You've been told if you don't feel like doing a weight training workout and you want to go for a walk, give yourself grace. If you've overeaten, it's okay. Just give yourself grace. If you ordered something at the restaurant and you're like, this is what I really want, and then it ended up tasting like crap, and maybe you ended up feeling really bloated, you've been told to give yourself grace. That's important. But not many people have conversations around the importance of giving yourself tough love. I will be the first to say it. You got to be kind to yourself, right? For so many years of you spending dieting and, being an a-hole to yourself and having these high expectations and trying to be this perfectionist and eating perfectly and beating yourself up, self-compassion and grace is important. Not beating yourself up is important. But people get tough love with self-beat up confused. They are two completely different things. So giving yourself tough love is important because I love this one phrase, and actually one of my clients brought it up on a coaching call, and she said, nothing changes if nothing changes. Giving yourself tough love to not give into your urges is important. Giving yourself tough love to say no thank you to dessert because you're already full from dinner is important. Giving yourself the tough love to chillax when you have 20 minutes on your lunch break or on your break at work instead of using food to fill the void is important, and it will absolutely change your life. But right now, sure, you might be working on giving yourself grace and self-compassion, but to be honest, you're being a little slack. And I'm going to be a little spicy, okay? I'm going to be a little spicy, and I'm just going to shoot it straight to you because I want to see you conquer. You've been giving yourself too much slack. You came home from work and you literally had this desire to make some granola, so you made some granola, and next thing you know, you finished almost all of the granola at 9 o'clock at night. But you say to yourself, but it's fine because today was so busy and I just needed to chillax for a little bit. You are packing your lunch for the next day and you were nibbling. And you're like, oh, but it's fine because I already overate at dinner, so might as well just keep nibbling. You gave in to a strong urge at 3 o'clock today. But you're like, oh, but it was just so strong, so I had to give in. Instead of actually giving yourself the tough love, when you know you're not hungry, when you know you're experiencing an urge, and when you know that you're full from dinner and you really want dessert, you don't need grace and self-compassion, you need tough love. That is the only way you are going to transform your relationship with food and actually conquer. Nothing changes if nothing changes. And I know that it's not easy. Because in 2019, I shared this story before. In 2019, I remember getting on a coaching call with my coach at the time. And I remember telling her that it was really hard for me to work through nighttime eating. Whether I would get home at 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, it doesn't really matter. I'd be in the kitchen. Whether I would be preparing my lunch for the next day, I used to do it in the evenings because I would get up so early at 4:45 or 5 a.m. So I'd prepare my lunch the night before. And of course, everything looks so good. So as I was preparing my lunch, I'd be picking at it. Or Or I would go into the freezer because when I lived with my parents, my mom would bake all of these treats and she would leave them in the freezer and I would just eat them. And no matter what, the evenings were really challenging for me. And so when I hopped on a coaching call with my coach at the time and I told her, I can eat healthy all day. The days are not the problem. It's when I get home from work, it's like, I'm not even hungry, I'm just eating. Whether it was like way too many sweets, it was picking at my lunch, I would have literally like 10 dates in almond butter and then feel so sick. And I remember on the coaching call telling her that I was struggling with nighttime eating. And so she gave me some suggestions of what to do. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, it's probably not going to work because honestly, like the evenings are just so challenging and I don't think it's probably not going to work. And then next week, I hop on another coaching call and I tell her the same thing. I'm still struggling with nighttime eating. And my mentor, my coach at the time said, well, how did it go? Like the tools that I shared with you to implement, how did that go for you? And I told her I didn't use the tools. And in this moment, my life changed. My coach said to me, nothing changes if nothing changes. In order for you to stop these habitual cycles, you have to be willing to do things differently. And I knew that, but it was not easy implementing the tools. It's not easy breaking patterns that you have been engaging in for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. But in that moment when my coach kind of called me out, at first, I was kind of like sad I didn't even know how I felt. It was like, part of me was like sad. A part of me was like, holy crap, you're calling me out. Like, what the heck is happening? But then a part of me was so grateful because that changed the trajectory of my relationship with food. When she called me out and she said, you have to use the tools. Like, I can't help you if you don't use the tools. It changed my life. And from that day forward, I started implementing the tools. I started giving myself the tough love, even when I didn't feel like using tools to not give in to my urges, even when I didn't feel like using the tools to, sit in the discomfort or to process my emotions. I started using the tools, and that is when my binge-free days started to turn into binge-free months that happened on repeat. And I was so grateful to my coach and mentor at the time because of that one conversation where she called me out and she just didn't say, oh, Lorna, it's okay that you're still overeating at night. Oh, Lorna, it's okay that you're still binging in the evening. It's okay if you're using food to comfort yourself in the evening. She didn't do that because she knew that actually would not be supportive for me. She called me out. Lorna, last week you just came on and you said you were struggling with nighttime eating. And now I asked you how the tools went and you didn't use them. And I want to be super clear. It's not about not struggling with something for weeks on end, because there are times where my clients come on a coaching call and we're talking about the same thing for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, because things don't just happen overnight. But the difference is that you have to be willing to do things differently. So there's a very big difference between, let's say, I was struggling with nighttime eating and I didn't use the tools. And then next week I said, I'm still struggling. And then I didn't use the tools. And then the week after I said I'm still struggling and I didn't use the tools. Well, yeah, I need tough love because, nothing's going to change if you don't do anything different. Rewiring your brain is literally doing things differently. Repetition of the specific brain-based tools is what's going to actually rewire your brain. That is very different than, let's say, I implemented a tool and it was hard for me to implement. Or let's say I implemented a tool and I sat in the discomfort, but it was really freaking uncomfortable. And then the week after I went to my mentor and I went to my coach and I was like, oh, it was so uncomfortable. Like I just really wanted to eat in the evening. That's a different conversation. but not implementing the tools, you got to give yourself tough love. My clients literally love when I give them tough love. They're like, Lorna, bring it to me. Like, you know what I need to hear? Like, give me the tough love. My clients, literally, one of my clients said on the coaching call the other day, she's like, nothing changes if nothing changes. She's like, I know I need to use the tools. I know I need to sit in the discomfort when I want to put the TV on and just snack even though I'm not hungry. Like, I know it's uncomfortable, but I got to use the tools. Like, I have to sit with the discomfort. Nothing changes if nothing changes. And people are so afraid of giving themselves tough love because I know that you have spent years being mean to yourself, beating yourself up, judging your food choices. But again, giving yourself tough love is not being mean to yourself. Giving yourself tough love, the way that I see it is these behaviors with food are not actually you. It's not actually who you are. So giving yourself tough love is to say, I'm going to hold myself to the high standard that I know that I'm meant to be on, because overeating and continuously, mindlessly snacking or having dessert when I know that I'm full from dinner, that's a behavior that is not serving me. It's not who I am. I don't want to be engaging in these behaviors, so I got to give myself tough love if I want to make a transformation, if I actually want to change. So it's not beat yourself up. It's not speak negatively to yourself. It's you are this badass. And these behaviors with food aren't you. So it's holding yourself to the high standard that you hold yourself in every other area of your life. You show up to work on time. You never show up late. You pick up your kids from school on time. You get in your workouts. You do your routines. You take care of yourself. You make sure that there's food for your family. You have high standards for yourself in every single area of your life. This is not different. That's the way that I see it. So it's not be mean to yourself, beat yourself up. It's these behaviors aren't actually who you are. It's like continuing to overeat is not okay with you. Leaving that social event being like, oh, why did I eat so much? That's not what you want for yourself. So you got to give yourself the tough love. And is it uncomfortable? Absolutely. But will it change your life? Abso-freaking-lutely. When you work with me, I will most likely tell you to chill the heck out. Like, you probably need to take a little chill pill because I know you want to do 25 million things before 9 a.m. And I know your to-do list is 75 pages long. And I know that you feel guilty resting when you have some free time. So I'm going to tell you to chill the heck out. I'm going to tell you to stop putting so many things on your to-do list. I'm going to tell you, let go of your perfectionist mindset. But I'm also going to give you tough love so that you stop giving into your urges. You say no to dessert when you're full from dinner because I want you to succeed. I want you to conquer, and I know that you have it in you. But it does require a little bit of like oomph, like, let's freaking go, badass. Like, sometimes you have to like snap yourself into it and be like, what the heck am I doing? But again, this is not beating yourself up. It's not saying, oh, why did you overeat? Like, I used to say to myself, like, oh, you're so stupid. Because like I knew what to do and I just wasn't doing it. And I kept on telling myself, come on, Lorna, like, why the heck are you continuing to give into your urges? But it's not about being mean to yourself. It's giving yourself the tough love to be like, listen, if you want a different future, if you want to stop thinking about food, if you want to be a better example to your children, you go first. You need to make some changes. I don't know why it's so hard for me. I always start the day off with a plan, and in the evenings I fumble. So this is a really good thing, and I'm so glad that you brought this up. Throw the plan out the freaking window. Having a plan is why you are struggling with the evening. Because I used to do this. I used to wake up in the morning and I'm like, okay, today is the day. I'm not going to binge. I'm not going to binge. Okay, when I get home from work, I'm going to make myself a cup of tea. I'm going to take a bath. I'm going to read. I'm going to go straight upstairs into my room. Don't even freaking go into the kitchen. And I had this plan. Let's be honest. You don't want to do any of that. When you feel an urge to binge, to mindlessly snack, to reward yourself with food late at night, you're not going to want to just go upstairs or have a cup of tea or do whatever the plan is. So it's not about being so rigid, and it's not about you have to do this. Because as soon as you tell yourself do this, your body is like, LOL, yeah, we're not doing that. And then you quite literally do the opposite. Because you feel like, well, if I didn't stick to the plan, well, then F it, I'm going on the other side of the spectrum. F it, I don't care. So when I came home from work and I didn't want to drink my tea, I didn't want to make myself some bone broth, I was too tired to take a bath, I literally would be like, I don't want to do any of that. So going in the kitchen and let's go have a bunch of snacks. Throw out the plan. Throw out the plan. Because if you don't follow it, you're going to feel like you failed. But you didn't fail. You didn't fail. It's just not realistic. Some of you guys have such unrealistic expectations for yourself. Like, I'm going to get home from work and I'm just not even going to go into the kitchen. Right? And it's like, well, that's not really realistic. Because some days you're going to come home from work and you're going to be hungry and you're going to want a snack. So it's not about being rigid. It's not like giving yourself tough love is not about, okay, don't go into the kitchen. Okay, well, you can't have a snack. No, that's rules, which is going to create impulses, which is going to cause you to rebel against them and then overeat like crazy. Versus tough love to be like, I'm full from dinner. So let me give you an example. Following strict rules would be like, okay, so you've just had dinner and you really want a snack. It's 8:00, you had dinner at 6:00, so it's been 2 hours and you're kind of hungry a little bit and you're like, I want a snack. Following rules would be like, no, you can't have a snack. No, you just had dinner 2 hours ago. Just go to bed early. That is a rule. That is you not listening to your beautiful intuition. That's you going against your body because you're actually hungry. And then you're going to be thinking about food the whole time. You're going to feel impulsive. And the next day, you're probably going to overeat or binge. Compared to tough love to say you've just had dinner at 6:00. You're not hungry. You're not hungry after dinner. But because of this habit that you've developed of snacking while you're watching TV, you just feel uncomfortable. And you just want a snack because you're used to it. But the tough love is to say, listen, but you're not hungry. You're not craving anything. You're just uncomfortable because you're not engaging in the habit that you're used to. So the tough love is to say you're not hungry. You're not experiencing a craving. You just got to be in the discomfort to break out of this habit. That's tough love. That's not, I'm hungry, don't eat. But I really want a cookie. Oh, you shouldn't have it. That's rules. That's rigidity. That's going to create urges and impulses. Versus tough love to say, listen, you're good. You're safe. You're not hungry. You're not experiencing a craving. So you're just uncomfortable right now, but you can absolutely handle the discomfort. There's a very big difference. Same with going out for dinner. So I have a client that I used to work with. We're kind of still working together, but she really struggled with dessert. And no matter where she would go, she would always feel like, I need to have dessert, or else she felt like she was missing out. And I said to her, you gotta give yourself tough love. It's not that you can't have dessert, but if you're literally full from dinner and you're gonna burst out of your pants, you gotta give yourself the tough love to be like, you don't need dessert. Because it's not that you can't have it. You go out for dinner next week and you're like, this cheesecake actually sounds really good, and you have it. But tonight, maybe nothing sounds good, or you're full from dinner. You got to give yourself the tough love to be like, listen, you don't need any more food. That's not restriction. That's not being mean to yourself. That's holding yourself to the high standard of the badass that you are, that wants to feel incredible in your own skin, that wants to live a good life, that wants to have energy, that wants to live a long, healthy life. It's holding yourself to the high standard that you hold yourself in every single area of your life. That's what it is. If you don't give yourself tough love and you're like, I'm full, but whatever, I'm just going to keep on eating, you're further ingraining this habit into your brain. If you say to yourself, oh, okay, but it's been such a long day, and like this is the only time I can comfort myself is when everybody's in bed, and I finally have 10 minutes to myself, and I know that I shouldn't be doing this, but I don't care. Like, you're literally going to keep repeating the same cycles. And that's what happened to me every single night. I would continuously, mindlessly snack. Your content is super helpful. I'm so glad. Thank you. I said to myself, like, oh, but just like one more time. Oh, but like my mom made these almond flour chocolate chip cookies and they look so good. Oh, there's fresh chocolate chip banana bread. Like I just have to have a piece. And I didn't give myself tough love. And then I just kept on repeating the same cycles. Remember this, nothing changes if nothing changes. If you want to quiet the food noise in your mind, if you actually want to feel like an unstoppable badass in your own skin, if you want to actually eat like someone who has a healthy relationship with food, you want to eat like a badass that actually loves yourself, you have to do things differently, because a badass that loves herself is not at the restaurant saying, I am so full, and still orders dessert. A badass who loves themselves might have a bowl of, let's say, oats at 8 o'clock. So it's like, oh, I want a little snack, but I also don't need 5 bowls. A badass who loves herself is like, I got a sweet tooth and I'm going to have some dark chocolate, but I also don't need the whole freaking bar. Amanda says, preach. A badass who loves herself eats what she's craving. She allows herself the dark chocolate. She allows herself to order dessert, but she doesn't get dessert when she's already so full and she's going to freaking burst out of her pants. That's meh, I don't care right now. That's not who you are. You are this badass. So you have to give yourself tough love. It's not restriction. It's actually self-love. The way that I see tough love, it's self-love. Tough love is not being an asshole to yourself. Excuse my French. Tough love is I'm giving myself tough love because I know how good I want to feel. I know how good I get to feel. And I want to get there. I love myself so much, I'm not going to make myself sick and order dessert just because my husband's getting it. This will change your life. And like I said, when you work with me, you're going to get tons of self-compassion. I'm going to give you tons of grace when needed. Like one of my clients is super overwhelmed right now. And I told her, I said, you need a me day. I said, take off a day from work. Like you got to chill the heck out. That's the coaching that she needed. But I also gave her the tough love to say, do it. Don't just continue saying that you're overwhelmed and add 20 more things on your to-do list. Like take the freaking day off. My clients love when I actually give them tough love. Giving yourself grace and self-compassion is important. But also giving yourself the tough love is also very important. If my coach didn't give me the tough love that I needed, my relationship with food would probably look completely different. You don't need somebody to say to you, oh, it's okay that you gave into your urge for the 20th time. Oh, it's okay that you are continuing to overeat it every single day. Yes, if you just overate, don't beat yourself up. If you gave into an urge, don't beat yourself up. But at the same time, if you're not implementing the tools, you gotta give yourself the tough love. You gotta push yourself. You gotta lean into the discomfort. This is why there's mentorship and there's coaching, because implementing the tools is not easy. One of my clients said to me, I know what to do. I'm having a hard time implementing the tools. Well, you need more coaching. You need more support, right? We actually got to work through this, and you got to take responsibility yourself to say, no one's going to do this for me. As a coach for my clients, I provide them the tools. I provide you with the tools. But I can't go to your house and force you to not give into your urges. You have to step into your inner badass to say, this is not who I am. And that's why I'm not going to give into my urge. Not out of punishment or out of restriction. It's this isn't who I am. That is the difference. So, giving yourself tough love will change the trajectory of your relationship with food. I will be the mentor that gives you the tough love that you know you need, because I know what you're capable of. I want to see you win. I want to see you succeed. I want to see you conquer. That's what I so badly want for you, and I know that that's what you want for yourself, so I'm going to hold you to a higher standard. And this will change everything for you. So, continue giving yourself grace. Continue giving yourself self-compassion. That is needed. It's not just give yourself tough love and forget about grace and self-compassion. It's finding a balance of both. But oftentimes, you're already kind of giving yourself grace and self-compassion. Actually, maybe too much grace and self-compassion. And now you got to give yourself the tough love. So, don't fear it. Lean into it. It will absolutely change your life. So if this resonated with you, feel free to send me a message. Let me know your biggest takeaways. Let me know how this landed for you. I know what you're capable of. I know that you can conquer. And sometimes you just need a little kick in the booty and everything will change for you. So thank you guys for being here. Go give yourself the tough love that you know you need, and watch how your binge-free days start turning into binge-free months that happen on repeat. All right, you guys, have a beautiful rest of your day, and we'll see you guys soon. Okay, bye, guys.